Awesome. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi guys. Hey. Thank you. I need the energy because I am nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really nervous. I've never spoken before, so this is my first time, and I'm really honoured to be doing it here with you guys at Coding Black Females. I also just want to shout out to Charlene for doing and creating this group as well. So can we just give like a big Charlene, like shout her out. It's really awesome, and it's really amazing to have a community like this. So yeah, so for those that don't know, my name is Jennifer Opal. I'm a junior software engineer at BT, 2 in the logo, which is now changed and it looks completely different, but I'll leave you guys to have an opinion about that one. So I wanted to just come and just talk to you guys about my ups and downs in terms of coming into software engineering. I've been a junior software engineer for 5 months. So I'm very new. I don't come from a traditional background at all. I didn't study STEM, I don't have a degree, I dropped out twice. Loads of things I want to get into, so I'm going to just show you guys how I got into software engineering, and I'm going to start by just giving you insight into who I am and my humble beginnings. Apologies in advance, Mum. Did this still work somehow? Oh, stop working.
I might have to click on the laptop first.
Okay, that's probably why.
It can be a bit temperamental.
There we go. There's me. So that's me in nursery. I think I was about 4 years old. I grew up in West London, South Acton Estate. It's where I started my early years, but predominantly spent all my years in Ealing. So born and raised in Ealing. My family are from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Hey. Oh. Do I have one song with me?
No, I'm such a niece.
Oh,
I know. It's alright, I'm here for you.
But thank you for the love. But yeah, so that's where I'm from. Grew up in Ealing, as I mentioned. I went to Dormers Wells High School in Southall as well. Didn't do too great in my GCSEs, I think. Could have done better, but I was bullied in high school. Yeah, that's probably my excuse as to why I didn't do so well. Excuse me for the hiccups and stuff, I don't know what just happened. But yeah, so from high school, went to college, studied media, I did a diploma in media and music technology, absolutely failed those. I got like a D and an F, I think. So I did really bad with that one. And then went off to university, of which where I dropped out twice. I studied advertising, marketing, communications at Bedfordshire. It was a tough one. I have no words. But I dropped out after like 6 months, and from that point I kind of went all over the place. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Didn't know what my strengths were, and worked in hospitality, I worked in teaching, I worked in so many different things. And then I tried to kind of find my niche. I decided to go to university. I did a certificate in counselling and counselling skills, and working with young offenders at Hounslow Council. Also volunteered with the Brentford Community Sports Trust, which is a really long name. And I was working with children from disadvantaged backgrounds in the hopes of becoming a psychodynamic therapist and working with young adults. So that was the path that I had in mind. And I then realised it just wasn't for me. It wasn't my strength. Sometimes you kind of think you know what you want to do, and then you start doing it and you're like, this isn't it, this isn't what it is. I know that I'm supposed to do something, but this isn't what it's supposed to be. So I had to kind of go on a journey and discover myself and what my strengths were. So I went back to university again in 2016 and decided to do a degree in business and French language. In Congo we speak French. My French is still awful, so that was a waste of money. But yeah, in my second year I went on to do a Code First Girls course. Anyone familiar with Code First Girls? Yeah? Alright, I think you guys should look into it. If you do want to think about learning to code, and you've been a student in the past or present, or just thinking of just learning in general, get in touch with them. They have loads of really good courses, and that's where I got my intro to code. It was during my second year of uni in October 2017, and I haven't looked back. So a year on, this is where I got to. And this is a course that BT did along with Code First Girls, and it was called the Further Programme. And on the further program, there was 30 women and non-binaries learning to code. Different backgrounds, different ages, different experiences. Some went to university, some didn't. But we all came together to learn something new. And these are the group of the women and non-binaries that got onto the program. There's me. That was so extra sometimes. Yeah, I was on this course and we learned Python. We did a module in Python, we did a module in front-end web development, and the whole course was project-based. We also did a module in test-driven development, and towards the end of it, we did a module in Agile. So we're learning a lot about how to use Agile in the workplace and how it all works and things like that. Is anyone here familiar with Agile?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'm going to throw it out to someone. Does someone want to explain Agile to someone else who doesn't know?
It's like minimizing waste and just being more efficient, I suppose. It encourages everyone to talk to everybody in the team. So it's more, I guess, collaborative, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, perfect. That's really...
What she said is definitely.
Yeah. Let's just all co-sign on her. But yeah, so during this program, the great thing about this, it was the first of its kind. It's never been done before. I think BBC recently just did it as well. I think they called it Step Up Tech or something like that. Step into Tech, right? So BBC's just done it, but we were first. Yeah, so at the end of the program, we all get given opportunities to have an interview to become software engineers within BT. And the roles are being offered in Belfast, Cardiff, Ipswich, which probably no one has heard of because I had never heard of Ipswich prior to the course, I'm telling you, new. And also Bristol. And I decided I wanted to move to Belfast, which is probably crazy for me. Born and raised Londoner, wanted to move all the way to Northern Ireland, never been there before, don't know anybody there, so I didn't know what to expect. But I'm like, I really want to do this. And sometimes you have to make yourself uncomfortable in order to step into what you want to do. And I think for me, being uncomfortable is how I knew this was the right decision for me and for my life. I'm kind of like, just to backtrack as well, like in terms of doing the Code First Girls course, I went to university hoping to find my purpose. I just ended up finding it in a different route. It wasn't necessarily on the degree, it was just through Code First Girls coming to me and saying, hey, why don't you try something new? Not every route is traditional. My route is definitely not traditional, and it's okay, everyone is different. But I was strongly encouraged to kind of keep that mindset open. You don't have to go to university to get into tech. There's loads of creative ways to do so, and we can talk about it later on as well. So yeah, some of the challenges I faced, there's no way that I cannot put this in one slide. Okay, she needs to be here, okay? So these are some challenges that I faced, and one of the main challenges that I faced was the fact that I was the only black woman on the floor, and I'm sure there's some of us that can relate to that, that have been in that experience, whether it be in university, whether it be in the workplace or anywhere else. I was the only black person on my floor. I think on the first day as well, when I walked in, I just knew they were not expecting someone that looked like me to come in. It was a really huge look of shock on their faces. But as I've come to settle in, I've realised that the majority of them had never spoken to somebody black. They've never communicated with somebody black, weren't really comfortable, didn't know what to ask, what not to ask. So I kind of felt that kind of instantly. But sometimes I kind of had to push myself onto them, and I didn't know whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. It might be good for some aren't really deserving of sharing that part of you. Some people want to know, some people just really don't, and that's okay. And I think that I was trying to force them to accept me by pushing my blackness onto them, saying, look, I'm a black woman and it's okay, this is me, and and it's exhausting. You know, it's exhausting trying to share that with people. But it's something I learned. But I'm still, I don't hide that fact that I can't hide that I'm black. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just there. But I push it, I just try and make them comfortable, say, look, it's okay to ask me a question. Not everyone there's from Northern Ireland. Some people have come over from India and different Asian countries and never ever communicate with somebody black. So I try my best to just educate them as much as I can if they're willing to listen. Second thing that I've experienced is unconscious bias.
Speak.
Let's
let's hold it. Hold it. Whew. I know. Okay, I'm joking. I just had to go. But wow, it's. Do you know what? I heard so much about unconscious bias before I entered tech, and I did not think that I would actually experience it. And I had moments where people literally said, "You got this job because you're a woman. That's it." Like they're just trying to fill the quota and things like that. And I didn't know how to handle that. And it's not like I had someone to kind of back me up and say, no, she didn't get it because she was a woman. She got it because, you know, she was hardworking. And for me, being in a new environment, and you don't know anybody, and you're trying to connect with people, you're trying to build friendships, you're trying to learn a new skill at the same time, and in your head you're thinking, I have to prove myself as well, like I have to really show that I have what it takes to be here, I deserve to be here. I then realised that is exhausting, mentally exhausting, like trying to prove yourself all the time. And I just realised I have to go at my own pace. And the only competition is me. The only person I have to prove myself to is me, and I don't have to prove myself to anybody else. So not everyone learns the same. Like I said, not everyone gets into tech in the same way. And I was surrounded by people that went to a top university in Belfast called Queen's, and people went there and did English and maths and IT, and they did all of this, like, yes indeed, and I'm like, no. But it's like, you just realise how different you are, and I think that my difference is what made me different to everybody else, that I can bring a different voice into the working environment. I don't even know. There's so many issues I had, like I don't know where to start, you know. Another battle that I had was back from March 2018, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, dyspraxia, and attention deficit disorder. And that affects my reading. So I struggle to read black and white. It affects my movement, so my mind, in terms of cognitive, how do I explain it? Cognitive brain pattern things, I don't know, some scientific stuff. I didn't do well in science. I don't know what happened in my science GCSE lessons to this day. But what will happen is that I'm trying to say I want to walk in a straight line, but my mind will tell me to just go this way. So in terms of me, my movement is really difficult for me to navigate sometimes, so I bump into things quite a bit. And in terms of attention deficit disorder, it affects my memory recall. So I very much struggle to focus on one thing on multiple things at the same time. So I could be having a conversation with yourself, for example, and you could also be talking, but I will have no idea what you just said, and it's literally just a blur. So it'll probably be a lot of repetition and things like that. But it's not, you know, a disease, like I'm not contagious or anything. Everyone just learns differently. And I just had to use that and adapt it to my styles of coding and try and find a way of, okay, I have these challenges. It's not the end of the world. I just have to use those challenges and find a way to learn this skill in the best way that I can, and also go at my own pace as well. And that's okay, because like I said, you don't learn like everybody else. But yeah, those are just some of the challenges that I faced. But one other challenge as well, I would say, is I was kind of worried at first about speaking. I was worried about sharing my experiences. I didn't want it to come back to bite me. I didn't want my voice to be a repercussion of my career progression or getting opportunities and things like that. And I think sometimes when you enter a workplace, whether it's tech or not, you sometimes think, oh my gosh, I can't even say that my manager is this, or I can't say that they should do this better because I don't want them to risk, I don't want to risk a promotion, I don't want to risk it in this opportunity. You think too much. But I think what I've come to understand about being vocal is that unless they know your experiences, they're not going to learn and they're not going to change. And sometimes they need to hear your voice and hear your experiences in order to understand that there's an issue. Because sometimes from senior levels as well, they look down like, yeah, everything's fine, we're making money, it's all good. But there's a lot more to it than that. So I'll strongly encourage you guys that if you are considering learning to code and entering tech, please be vocal. Because even being here, you're in a space where you don't even realize that you're inspiring somebody. There's somebody watching you and your journey. And it's a powerful thing to use your voice because you have absolutely no idea the impact it will have and whose life it can change. So I strongly encourage you guys that if you do, you know, within yourself and in your own time, encourage you to share your experiences, to be vocal, and don't be afraid of speaking your mind, because speaking your mind is how changes happen. But of all the challenges and the things that I faced in my really, really short career, I did also have quite a lot of blessings as well that I definitely did not expect. So during the further program, which was a 4-month program, it started back in November last year and finished in February. And then my new job started in March. For some reason, they gave me only 1 week to move all of my things from London to Belfast. I thought, yeah, this will work. I'm like, no. But I managed to do it. But during the program, I was blogging and sharing my experience of being in a bootcamp environment, learning to code Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And I was very much trying to be as honest and as open as possible. It was very much an outlet for me to say, I really struggled today. I have absolutely no idea what happened. I don't know what this code does. Is this a heading? Is this what? I don't know what happened. And it's okay for me to say that. And I'd rather be honest than just say, look, it's okay to not get it. Even right now, I don't get it. You know, at work, I don't get it. Straight up. But do you know what? I'm still learning and I'm still trying to find where I fit in, and that's all right. But yeah, I've had many opportunities. I've been featured in People of Colour in Tech, been sharing my experiences of what I've seen that's an issue within the tech industry. Well, technically within BT as well, which is where I work. And I think for me, sharing my issues is how they started to learn and realise I want to talk to you, I want to hear about your experiences and try and make things better for you. It got the attention of the CTO of BT, Chris Bramley, who then went on to ask me about joining like the ethnic diversity network within BT. So I've been trying to get involved and trying to share my, let's say, modern outlook, I guess, to try and make things better for the next person that comes in, so they don't have to experience what I experienced in the workplace, and no one wants to experience that. I've also done interviews with Nyla Dene. Nyla Dene is a non-profit in the US, and they focus on teaching young black girls about STEM. So they're going to primary schools in the US, and they reached out to me during the further program, and I did an interview with them. Along with the tech connoisseur, I strongly suggest you get in touch with him. The man behind the tech connoisseur is also based in the US, but he's been working in tech for many years. So if you look into that, he's on Twitter and LinkedIn, so you can get in touch with him. He's a really amazing person. But yeah, like, it's been quite a lot of blessings here. I've also been nominated, well, I was shortlisted for the UK's first Women in Software Power List, which was awesome and not expected. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was literally just a month into my career, so that was just, whoa, amazing. And it was ironic because the ceremony was held in the same building where I had my first coding class back in 2017, which is at level 39 in Canary Wharf. But that's where I had my first introduction to code, and then coming back full circle, this nomination was incredible. I was also nominated I think like 2 weeks ago. I was shortlisted for one of the UK's most influential women in technology for 2019 by Computer Weekly. So that was also Thank you so much. I think one thing that I really want to just share with you guys is that it's really valuable that I think some people don't really think about when you get into tech. I mean, how do I summarize this? There's so many thoughts in my head, I just want to make sure I get what I want to say out. It's so mad. When I got into tech, I didn't think I would be here. And even me being here and speaking to you guys is a huge honor for me, to be able to share my experience. And I really hope that from what I share that you take something with you on your journeys into tech, or even to just share it with somebody else and say, look, coding is somewhere where we really do need to hear your voices and we need to hear your input. I think you probably know about the lack of diversity being represented in terms of AI and how it's being used, and things such as even the Metropolitan Police is using AI to predict people that are going to commit a crime, and the majority of the people in those databases are black. So that's just one example of AI being used. And even a Snapchat filter, if you try it on for yourself with a group of friends, and I guarantee that Snapchat filter will go to the lightest shade. And there's a reason why. And it's literally just the people behind it. There's not any diversity representing behind the littlest things that you don't even realize is actually an impact. And, you know, I think that what we need to what people are starting to learn, and what organizations are starting to see as well, is that the power of a black woman, of just black people, is so beneficial to the growth of technology, and it's really, really needed. And I really hope that you guys really think about getting into tech, learning how to code, and take your time. There's no rush. Like, don't try and get it done in 4 months. Like, even for me, when I got the job, I still was like, I don't know what to do. That's really all I've got to talk about. But I can't just like leave and not have Beyonce. But yeah, come on, that's the queen, man, come on. But yeah, that's everything I have to say. I really hope it inspired you guys, and any questions that you guys have, please, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. That was really wonderful.
I feel really inspired right now. Really, really inspired. A lot of the things that you said resonated a lot with what it was like when I started out in my career. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to create this sort of space, so that people could share their experiences rather than sort of sit in isolation and not have anyone to talk to. So I'm just glad that you came and did this for all of us.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions at all? Like, doesn't matter how random, it's all good. Trust me. Hey.
So you mentioned unconscious bias, and obviously going as a black woman to one of the non-black women type places in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find that, and how did you sort of understand the unconscious bias was there? And in your time there, do you see that the workplace that you've now impacted has changed? Or have you seen that it's been a very case of you've learned yourself, the workplace has learned, and there's still more to go?
There's still more to go, for sure. In the beginning, I felt very isolated, and it was incredible because I'm in a room full of people. There's like a good 400 or 500 people working in our building, and I'm the only black person that's working for BT in Northern Ireland. Well, in the office, the building that we're in. I haven't been to the other building, but where I am, I'm the only one. What I started to notice is that I didn't even realise that I was actually experiencing unconscious bias until I reflected upon a lot of things, and it went down to how they spoke to me. You know, things like, do you know how to do this? Are you sure? Like, just those kind of things. And it was just like, they were kind of making me feel less, you know, and it definitely had an impact on my confidence because I realized I wasn't growing as much as I should have. But there are some people that are just that way, and they don't realize the impact that their words have. And some people just don't want to learn. You know, some people don't even realize they're doing it, and they don't want to acknowledge that they're doing it. And there's nothing that you can really do. And I've had an argument back and forth, and like even on BT we have like a social media platform. I feel like every organisation has like an internal social media. Like, I don't know why, but an internal.
It's for stalking.
Yeah. But one thing, what happened was is that there was a newsletter about a man that has become the most senior black exec in BT's history. And bear in mind that BT was formed in 1846. And this is the first black man to come in, and he's from the US, so he was hired externally, which is great actually, because we need the kind of new outset. But what happened is that somebody went on there, started talking about, because this guy Michael was talking about the importance of trying to get black people and people of colour in general access to senior roles, and trying to give them confidence to be able to say, look, we want you to do this and you can do this, and not to feel intimidated by it, because a lot of people of colour do have those problems. And someone challenged that and was like, yeah, but no, but just a lot of back and forth and things like that, trying to question it. And it went on to say, I understand the importance of neurodiversity. I don't understand the relevance of ethnic diversity. We don't need that.
Wow.
It was just like...
That's so deep on every level.
It really is. And the thing is that that's when I realised not everyone is going to agree. And there's just some people that just don't see an issue and don't understand the importance of it. But all I can do is just speak on my experience. That's the best thing that I can do, is just use my voice and just say, look, like, you might not feel that way, and you need to educate yourself on it and try and just like understand from my point of view. But there are some people that just don't want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I think just continue to use your voice in that. The team that I'm currently working in at the moment, actually, I'm working with the test automation team. Woo! Which is pretty cool. Of which I'm the only woman, and I'm the only, well, obviously I'm the only black person there, so obviously that those kind of two demographics. So coming in as somebody new, not learning how to code, being black, being a woman, it's a lot of challenges. But I've come to realise I have to kind of move around and find where I fit in. I mean, in terms of tech, I don't really know where I want my career to go. So I'm actually moving towards big data and learning about that. So I have the opportunity to move to the big data team in the office, which will be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, like there's some things, like when you get into any workplace, I think you're gonna have a sense of there's some people that just won't realise that what they're saying is actually having an impact on you. And I think those kind of experiences, you need to kind of say, look, you don't have to speak to them. If the manager's cool, then luckily my manager's really cool, so I'm able to just say, look, this is what happened. And just say, this is what's on my mind and this is what I've experienced, and I think this is what needs to be changed. But you can tell someone to change, doesn't mean that they will. But all you can do is just speak your experience, and they can't deny your experience. They have to accept your experience, and you at least lifted that weight off your shoulders and just be able to move on from that. But I hope that answers your question. Sometimes I waffle a bit. Any other questions? I saw you put your hand up.
It was tied to what you were talking about in that story, and I was asking if the person that was saying that there's no significance of ethnic diversity, were they of any managerial significance, or were they just another?
I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, so you don't know who it was? It was just.
I know his name and surname and location.
So West London is gonna.
But in terms of whether he's of a managerial role, I have absolutely no idea. But I'm definitely sure he's in the white middle-aged male group for sure. But yeah, definitely. But the comment was taken down. A lot of the comments that he said was taken down. But the whole point of that, there's internal social media, is for everyone to just be open. And I think other people reading it kind of realised that there was an issue as well. So a lot of people learned from that anyway. So, I hope so. Hey.
The comment was taken down, but was any action taken towards him to educate him about like why his comment was wrong in the first place? Because it's almost for appearances if they just take it away. But if we're not giving those lessons so we don't come to this breach again, then like what's the point?
A lot of colleagues got involved, so it wasn't even just me. Like they had the comments section was long. Like I was getting emailed, oh he made a comment, oh he made a comment. I'm like, oh boy, I'm tired. But a lot of people got involved and tried to educate him, but he was just one of those people that were like, yeah, but, no, but. And those kind of people you just can't really teach. And some people suggested books that he can read and YouTube videos, but whether he like literally like, I don't think I need to learn anything on this and that, and you know, talking about he doesn't think that he kind of was looking at it in a way, oh, because you're black then you can get this job, and what about us? And it was just like, you're not seeing the bigger picture here, is that you have the access to do it, and a lot of people of colour don't, and especially in the black community, we don't have, we want access, and there is access, we just don't have the confidence sometimes to just have someone just say, look, you can do it, and we want to hear you, we want your experience, and we want it here, and it's valued. So some people you can't teach, man. Nothing you can do. Hey.
So live in Belfast, how have you settled in? Have you seen any other black person while you walking around? The reason why I say that, I've been to like Republic Island, and if you see any other black people, they're usually like students, and that's about it. And like I could really feel like people just staring at me when I was walking around Dublin. So I was wondering if you had a similar experience when you were in Belfast.
I did, yeah, definitely. Like I think I've settled in quite okay, not as much as I thought I would. Like I said, they gave me a week to find a house, like, it was mad. But the house that I live in is close to the Peace Wall. I don't know if you're familiar with the Belfast history. Okay, whoa. It's close to the Peace Wall, yeah.
When that Brexit goes on.
Like I said, I didn't know Belfast, so I had to look for a house on my own. So I managed to find somewhere to live, which is in an area called the Shankill, which is actually really close to the Peace Wall, sorry. It's literally one of those areas where the gates between the Catholic area and the Protestant area close at a certain time. Even like, I think it was like around the 12th, 11th of July, they have like a bank holiday thing and they march through, and around that time they close the gates as well so that the Protestants don't go into the Catholic side and that kind of stuff, and there's no issues. It's a lot. I bet you guys are like, no, I ain't going up. But I will say, like, for me, when I moved into my home, bear in mind Belfast is ridiculously cheap, it's amazing. Really cheap. When I moved out there, my neighbours came over and just said hi. Like, I've never had that here in London, to be honest. It's like, why are you talking to me? But they knocked on, hi, how are you? And I can't do the Irish accent for they even try and ask me to do it, I can't do it. But they introduced themselves. I know Gail and Michael are my neighbours, and they're really, really friendly. And the area that I'm in is like, oh, hi, John, oh, hi, oh, how are you? Hi, Paddy. And all that stuff. And it's like, it's a really, really close community feel, and that's what I love about Belfast. Like, everyone knows everyone. I do see black people. They tend to come out when the sun is out there. When it's raining, you won't see that. But like, when the sun is out, you just see like, oh, black, oh my gosh, hello. And it's amazing, and it's like, oh my gosh. But it's awesome. But I will say that what I love about in Northern Ireland, what I love is that they very much want to learn about different cultures. They want to kind of understand you. And I remember one time I was walking through the city centre in Victoria Square, and I was wearing like this, like a two-piece African dress thing, like those matching things from Grassfields or something. And I was walking through, and some woman just came running up to me like, oh, I love this is amazing. Like, they're so curious, and it's very, I meet a lot of people that have never had a conversation with a black person, and they're probably in like their 60s, 70s, 80s, but I also met someone that's the same age as me that's never had a conversation with a black person, and never went to school with somebody of colour until, actually, when they got to college is when they actually had a conversation with someone that was Asian, and they'd never ever had it. But they literally said in the last 10 years is when they started to see more diversity coming in, and people are now open to coming to Belfast. So don't be scared. Belfast is big. Like, Belfast is a really beautiful city, and I have no regrets moving there. I absolutely love it. Like I said, the rent is cheap. I live by myself. And it's nice, but like it's really, really stunning. I definitely would encourage. I know that Belfast, for us, when you're in London, you're thinking, oh my gosh, you'll never catch me out there, boy. But definitely have that kind of mindset where it's all right to kind of step out your comfort zone. As I said, sometimes you have to do that in order to take that first step into doing what you're passionate about, whether it be in tech or even something else. You have to make yourself uncomfortable, and that's all right. It worked for me anyway, and I'm sure it'll work for you guys. So yeah, not a lot of black people. It's predominantly white. I think it's like 97% white. And where I am, I think I'm probably the only black person on my road. But I'm walking to work and everyone's out with their dogs. Oh, hi, John. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Hey. Hi, Andy, Paddy. And it's really nice. Like, everyone's really, really friendly. But yeah, don't be put off. There's nothing wrong with like come and visit and check it out, you know. And if you are ever in Belfast, let me know. I'm happy to meet with you guys for coffee and a tour.
We'll have our next session.
Yeah. Why not?
Bring the black people there.
Why not? Just come. Catch a plane. Catch a plane.
Is this your family?
We are family. But it's really, really awesome. Trust me. Like they really do love seeing people with different backgrounds. Like really, really do. And they I remember one of my friends that I made out there who's Irish, and he was like, I absolutely like even like restaurants and stuff. He's like, I can't stand Irish food anymore. Like it's just potatoes and stews and potatoes, and they just love experiencing different cultures and things like that. So they're very open to seeing people with different backgrounds and learning as well. So I think that's what makes them different to a lot of cities in the UK, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Any other questions? Okay. Oh, okay. Do you want to go first? Type Jess? Go.
I wanted to ask, so when you found yourself like really down in the pits or you feel really discouraged, how have you been able to pick yourself up, and how has the support system been for you, if you have one?
I think the first thing I did was take a day off. I think when I had those moments where I was feeling really like, when I had like moments where I just didn't want to get out of bed, I remember having one of those days and I called my manager and said, I can't get out of bed and I can't come to work. Lucky enough, my manager is very relaxed and open and definitely learning about, you know, how to communicate and things like that. It's like, yeah, take a day off, stay home. But I had to take that time out for myself. On that day, I just stayed home, I cooked, I cleaned, and gave myself a little spa day. But also, like, thankfully I have a lot of people, even on social media as well, I've made connections with so many people. And I think that that's why I'm saying that it's really good to share your journey, no matter what industry you're in, because you manage to connect with a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that are going through or have experienced what you've experienced. And I was able to lean on them and say, look, I'm feeling like this, and this. And a lot of things that I experienced, I didn't even realize was a problem. Like even just someone saying to me, oh, you got this job because you're a woman. Because I was on the program, I just thought, yeah, kind of I did. But then I realized, nah, like that was the wrong thing to say. And someone else had to tell me that. So I didn't even realize for myself. I think having a good support network around you, be honest and be open and don't hide away. That's something that I sometimes do. I just hide and try and go through it on my own. You have to lean in on people and you have to kind of say, look, I'm going through this, and let them help you and speak to that person. Whether you want to go for a coffee, whether you want to talk to them on the phone, don't hold that weight in, because it's so unhealthy, not just physically but also mentally here. And it's going to keep, like, I had moments that I couldn't sleep and things like that, but I had to learn to lean on people around me. But thankfully I have a great, you know, support network around me. There's a couple of women on the program that moved to Belfast with me as well for the jobs, so I'm able to lean on them and we're able to lean on each other. So don't keep it to yourself, just let it out and just let someone else help you carry that weight, because you're not alone in any of it. Yeah, go. Love the dress, by the way. Fabulous.
Thank you so much for creating such. This is my first time here, by the way.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, so
my first time too.
I know. Just creating such like a safe space for us women here. So brilliant. I'm a fan. My question to you is, because with me, I really resonate with your story, because I also had a zigzag into tech. I always say to people, like, I didn't choose tech. Tech chose me.
Facts.
Literally, like, I'm like, whoa. So I'm usually kind of like in spaces where I question myself. And it's like, you know, when you're around the Oxbridge, Red Brick, Russell Group people chatting nonsense, and you're trying to tell them, actually, that code's actually wrong, you know. If you press send, but it's like, it's suffocating. So I think, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for sharing your story, because it's given me confidence now. I'll be going back to my project. Listen, Steve from actually, this is what the coach looked like. So what I wanted to ask you is, okay, so you know when you was learning the different types of code, how did you like lift yourself up when the code weren't supposed to do what it's supposed to do, and I was going to smash my laptop? Do
you know what? I think like I think in the tech culture, especially people that are already coding or whatever,
Yeah.
they're always like, oh, I coded for 10 hours a day and I didn't take a break. Like, I don't know if you've really seen, like, I've seen YouTube videos and vlogs, like, yeah, code for 10 hours a day, non-stop, and then apply for a job in 3 months, and here we are. You know, some crazy ones, but I took a break. You have to take a step back. And even right now, I'm still learning. Like, I have to learn Python, and now I have to learn JavaScript. I've never worked with JavaScript, and I'm creating tests with JavaScript. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm Googling half the time. Like, I don't know what's happening. But you have to take a break. Like, when that's happening, your mind needs a break. And go for a walk, take a day away, take 10 minutes away, whatever works for you. Like, think about what works for your learning style, and just take a step back and say, look, my mind can't take it. And allow yourself that break, and don't think that because you don't understand it or it's not working that you're not capable of doing it either. I think that's the mistake that I sometimes made, is that when it wasn't working or I didn't understand something, I was like, no, I'm not cut out for this, like, I can't do this, maybe I'm not.
You get that.
Yeah, you get those moments, but I realised that I have to kind of reflect and be like, I got this job for a reason. It's because I worked hard to be here, and I'm not expected to know everything. I'm going to continue to learn. And even as I was talking about the tech connoisseur as well, is that even he said in 15 years of working with JavaScript, he still doesn't really know much about JavaScript. And that's 15 years in the game, that's an OG. That's an OG. For real. But it's all right, like, we're going to continue to learn. And even as technology adapts, we're going to continue to learn. And as you start to pique your interest, maybe you'll be like, oh, I want to learn about AI. I'm going to be learning about big data. I have to learn about Scala. I never heard of it before. I don't know how it works, but I'm going to learn something new, and I'm not going to get it, and it's cool. It's all right for me to say, look, I don't get it, but just be open to receiving something new, but also be open to saying, I don't understand, and allow yourself that time to understand it. Not in a perfect way, because you're not going to understand it perfectly, absolutely not. But give yourself that time. Don't be hard on yourself either. You got there for a reason, man. Like, you signed a contract, everything.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
I guess we
Thank
can all
you for
talk
having me.
after this.